What's up, BooknBrunch.com?
Hi, Chef. How are you this morning?
I'm doing good. It's a beautiful day out here in Vancouver.
Oh, that's terrific. I'm so glad. I believe you're aware that we're doing a little bit of a different format, so I've got a few additional questions, but I'll start out with asking you about your secret summer ingredient, those fresh California grapes. What inspired you to start cooking with them?
Well, I love grapes. I love popping grapes. I love putting them in the freezer. But then I realized that there's a lot you can do with grapes. All over the world, people cooking with grapes for centuries. So why not kind of resurrect that tradition and bring it back around and incorporate it in not only sweet dishes, but savory dishes.
What's your favorite recipe to include the grapes in, and what kind of grapes do you use, and talk about grilling them?
Well, right now I'm really hot on grape and chicken skewers. So I do these grape and chicken skewers right here. We cube up some chicken, a little bit larger than the red grapes. And I like those red grapes because they're succulent, juicy, add a nice texture, but there's a depth of flavor to them that I'm looking for with the chicken that goes really well with the savoriness of the meat. Put some marjoram, a little bit of oregano, mix that together, some olive oil, cook those all together. About 7 minutes, you pull those off and you make a classic Alabama white barbecue sauce with the unclassic twist of adding a little bit of green grapes to that as well for the sweetness and a little bit of tart to that. So you bring all those things together.
And any particular grape that we should be aware of that may be best to use, especially this time of year?
Well, this time of year, I'm focusing on California grapes. It's the season from May to January is the peak of that stuff. So when you go to the grocery store, just look for it in your regular grocery store. Keep them in your fridge unwashed. When you want them, pull them out, wash them, and then you're good to go. You can eat them just like that, freeze them, or incorporate them in some of the recipes you can find at Sorry.
Let's stop. Stop. Just tell her you're going to do it again.
Okay.
Okay. And this is video, so you can do the whole.
Okay, yeah.
Just say,
I'm just trying to figure out what you wanted me.
yeah, we'll start over.
Okay.
So just tell her so she can hear you.
Okay. So, I just
Start from the beginning.
the beginning.
Yes, the beginning.
Okay.
Okay.
From
I don't need the very beginning. Perhaps just the type of grapes you use
Yeah, the types of
and
grapes,
why
yeah.
you use them at this time of year.
Yeah. So from May to January, you find California grapes readily available in the market. And I love to skewer them like this with the red grapes because they're kind of a deeper, richer flavor for something like this with the savoriness. Or the green grapes work really well in the white Alabama barbecue sauce because there's a little bit more tang to it and acidity, right? Along with the sweetness that you want.
And is there a certain website that people can go to get more information about those California grapes?
Yeah, for sure. If you go to grapesfromcalifornia.com, you can see all these recipes that I'm cooking with here today. I got some Spanish tapas with Marcona olives, also some tacos with grape salsa. So really, really good.
Great. Now, changing gears a little bit, tell us a bit about your journey to becoming a chef.
Well, I grew up in a family of household of restaurant people. So I'm the third generation food and beverage person in my family now. And here I am cooking along. We're doing these shows, Man Fire Food, Man's Greatest Food. I've got the restaurants, and so it's a lot of fun,
What does a typical day in your life look like?
What is a typical what?
Day in your life look like?
A typical day in my life is Aiden. There's no typical day. I might be in the recording studio. I might be in the kitchen. I might be out here in Vancouver. I might be testing recipes for my restaurant. I might be taking my kids to the park. There's no typical day in my life, and that's what makes it fun,
I know you're from Toronto. What's your favorite restaurant to go to, and the meal that you like to eat in Toronto at the restaurant that you like the best?
There's a really good restaurant called Keen. It's a Thai restaurant. They're focusing on royal Thai cuisine. They have another restaurant that does Thai street food, but this is royal Thai cuisine, and they serve like this perfumed, aromatic, colored rice and gold vessels, and it's one of my favorite restaurants in Toronto.
How have your passions for music and cooking inspired or influenced each other?
Well, it's really interesting, because the music and the food seem like they're not related, but in my world, they're very related. They're all social environments. They're all gateways to culture. And what better way to understand a tradition and other people than by sitting down having a meal with them or enjoying some music from the culture, you know?
And if your new album, Eat Your Words, were a meal, what would we see on the plate?
You see a little bit of everything. You'd see some Argentinian asado. You see some SoCal fresh light veggie products. You would see some curry goat from the West Indies. It's a mix of a whole bunch of stuff.
Who would you love to collaborate with musically? Hello?
Hello?
Oh, yes. Who would you love to collaborate with musically?
Who do I love to collaborate with musically? I would love to collaborate with Pharrell Williams. I love to collaborate with Dr. Dre. That'd be fun.
And what about collaborating with The Kitchen? Who would you like to work with?
Oh, who would I like to work with in the kitchen? My favorite people to work with in the kitchen are my kids. So I get to work with my dream collabos in the kitchen all the time.
That's cute. Who's your favorite artist to listen to while you cook?
It depends. You know, I have my music is on shuffle, and so I'll go between like Andre 3000 and Outkast to Dolly Parton on there. Duran Duran is on there. Public Enemy is on there. It's like Kids Bop is on there.
A wide range, sure. And what's your number one tip for grilling and entertaining?
So number one tip for grilling and entertaining is, you know, take your time, relax. When you're out there cooking over the fire, that's where you can take time and chill out a little bit. You have to tend to the food, talk to your friends, relax, have something to drink. You're good to go, you know, just chill.
And in real life, we know face-to-face interactions are kind of on the decline as the world becomes more virtual. What would you do to ensure you're having authentic face-to-face interactions regularly?
Well, I call me old school, but I just pick up the phone and call my friends and say, come over face to face. And before you know it, they're there, and you put down the phone and you're talking, and that's what's up, you know.
What exciting projects do you have coming up?
So there's new episodes of Man's Greatest Food and Man Fire Food cracking right now. I have an album out now that's called Eat Your Words. That's just shortly been released. There's one video out, another video coming out shortly. So anything like that, you can check out rogermooking.com and get more information.
And what cookbooks do you find yourself referring to the most often?
Cookbooks. You know, I have hundreds of cookbooks, and mostly I just look at the pictures. Because I can see kind of off the pictures, and I glance at the ingredient list and kind of piece together what they've done. If it's something that I can't, just based off of that, I'll dive in and read it. But for the most part, I can look at it on site and get a good sense of what they're done. And then I like to tweak it my own way anyway. So I'm not great at following the recipes, but I'm good at making the recipes so you can follow them. What's
your go-to meal to make at home?
My go-to meal at home, you know, my favorite meal if I could eat every single day of the year would be a Vietnamese pho. I could eat pho every single day. I think my kids will get a little bit perturbed with me with rice and noodles all the time like that, but for me, I could eat it every day.
And what's your ideal comfort food?
That is also my ideal comfort food, strangely enough, yeah.
What's your dream brunch date? Where and with whom?
My dream brunch date, I would be me and my wife somewhere in Paris or off of a cliff in Portugal. The phones have just died. Perhaps it's edging towards the apocalypse. And we're just out there having fun and enjoying it, you know?
What would you say is your biggest achievement to date?
My biggest achievement to date is, you know, I got 4 kids. Easily my biggest and most challenging achievement to date and every day.
What would people be surprised to find out about you?
They would maybe surprised to find out that I am OCD when it comes to cleanliness. I'm that person on a plane with the wipes, like wiping down my station, wiping down all the buckles. So maybe, but hey, at least you know when you come to my restaurant, it's clean.
And how close is your online life to your offline life?
My online life just kind of mirrors what my online life does. Maybe you see a lot less of what is actually happening in my life. I'm just very private and, I don't share my kids on there and stuff like that. So you're gonna miss out on that. But you can see what they ate.
Well, Chef, thank you so much for your time. You've been so informative and entertaining. I appreciate it so much. Keep cooking.
Thank you. Have a great day. All right.
Thanks. You too. Bye-bye.
Take care.